Hello, today on DIY with Chris. Everyone, we're going to do an unboxing and an installation on a shredder, a chipper and mulcher that we just got. Sorry about the dog. I would move this video to a different location. However, this box is insanely heavy. It's definitely a two-person lift. This is the Tazz Chipper and Shredder. We purchased this on Amazon for about $750. It had really good reviews, the ones that it did have on there. So it was a 4-star product. And in addition to this, you can also buy some other things. We didn't get them. You can also buy the tow bar to come with it, and then you can also buy a vacuum attachment so that it can like vacuum up your loose leaves and stuff. Those are available. We're gonna go ahead and get this open and whatnot now. Okay, I can tell you that I am already impressed with this product, because usually once you finish installing a product, then you have to go get other pieces for it in order to either make it run, or especially when it comes with an engine, you know, or safety specs. But I'm looking in here and it already has engine oil in the box, which is really awesome. And I'm seeing one more thing. It has safety glasses. They're a pretty cheap pair, and they're plastic. They do have venting on the sides and top, so they should work pretty decently, but it already comes with its own safety goggles. And there's these rods, so I'm sure we'll figure out what that is in a minute. And then this piece here. But how cool is that it already comes with oil and safety accessories? That is really cool. One of the reasons why we got this one is it does have a 5-year warranty. So there's the Tazz 5-year warranty, so you can see that, and it has a 5-year warranty on the shredder itself plus the engine, so that is really good. And hopefully you won't have to use it, but it's really nice to have that option in case we do need to. We do have 2 different manuals. Now, I actually found this manual online on Amazon. It was available on Amazon before we even purchased it. And this is just the actual chipper shredder overall manual. And then there is a completely separate engine manual. And so this is a Viper engine. And so this is a 301cc 4-cycle engine. There are multiple versions of this Tazz shredder, and this was the one that had the largest engine, 301cc. I forget what the other ones were, but they were all lower than that, and so this one also weighs the most in conjunction with that. So there are these 2. I'm guessing that we just need to start with this chipper shredder to start the installation. So this does have a card to register your product for warranty, and that has the serial number. You just fill in this stuff, and then you can send it to them, and it has the address and everything. So just place a stamp and then send that right in, and it'll register the product. So that's how we can register for our warranty. So we'll definitely be doing that. So this one is supposed to take up to 3-inch thick branches. Gross weight is 131 pounds. So it is a little bit heavier. So we have the assembly. So these assembly instructions are in English. I'm not sure if they have another language available. Check the back. I only see English right off. So unless they have different manual or whatnot. But it has the assembly, and it has pretty good diagrams. There are pretty good diagrams on there. So it has the different figures and pretty good instructions. So we'll just get going on that. This is the chute So this is the chute for the branches, and then it has the actual the mulching chute also. So this thing just give you kind of a guess, like it's a pretty big chute. I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling this whole thing, and then I'll let you know if I run into any problems with any of the individual steps. When I'll let you know how hard it is to install. We have the Tazz shredder already assembled now. It is pretty heavy, and right now it's actually really easy to use now that it's got the wheels on it and stuff, but it's probably going to be best if you use a couple people to help you install this and do the things on it. So I'm going to give you a quick walk around of it and kind of the order in which we had to install the things, and then some other tips on the tools and stuff that you're going to have to use. The very first thing that it had us install was this kickstand right here. So when I pulled it out of the box, this portion right here was actually straight up. When I set it down on the porch, that end was up, which made it actually really easy to install this bracket, because those the mounting bolts, there's 4 mounting bolts, and so this was facing me as it was laying on its side there, so, or laying on the back end. So it was the very first thing that we installed was the kickstand, and it's just those 4 bolts. These are, I believe, the 5/8 is the nuts that we installed on there, and the size ratchet that we used. The next thing that we installed was the wheels. Wheels were really easy installation. You just slide them right onto the axle, slide the washer on, and then feed the cottering pin through, and then we bent those. The next thing that we installed was the actual chute right here, and that is the bolts were already coming out of the block area, like back there, so all we had to do is add the nuts. All of these are locking nuts, so you are going to definitely want tools. So here's where it started getting a little bit harder to do, is I was using a ratchet set and trying to get into some of these areas, particularly this one down here, because there's just 3 of them on this hopper, or on this feeding chamber. But trying to get that ratchet onto this was really hard. It did work, but you're going to want open-end wrenches, and I'll give you the sizes of those here in just a minute. But so we did install this. Nice thing is this does have a cover. We put that on at the very end, but it does have a cover for when you're not using it. Once we finished with this feeding chute, then we came over and we installed this sliding bracket right here, and that just slides in and out. So we'll open that up, and then you can see down in it. So that's the inside view of it, and you can kind of see some of the hammers and stuff down there that it uses to chop up the wood. So this is the feeding chute, and then if we close it, then it just covers that up. So that's a nice safety feature. After we did that, we actually installed this hopper right here. So there's no bolts or anything for the sheet. You just slide it in, and then you put this hopper on top of it. So this hopper has 8 bolts total. This bracket, this green bracket, was loose in the package, and we had to install this bracket, but the one on the other side was already installed. So we had to put these nuts on, and their washers, and then there's also 4 on the other side. So again, for these 4 over here, really tight clearance, couldn't get a ratchet in there, so I had to use different tools for that. So you're going to want open-end wrenches for this. Once that was installed, it asked us to install this guard first, which was not a good idea. I don't like the order in which they had you do it. I would install the handle first. These bolts are easier to get to, and then nuts to tighten it if you haven't already installed this feeder. So I would do it in the other way, but we installed this first, and then we went with the handle because that's the way it told us to do it. As soon as that was done, that was pretty much the full assembly, and then we just put on this bar, and this bar just helps hold up the mulch bag, and there's no bolts or anything. It just feeds right into the sleeve, and you fold it down behind this bracket, and that's what keeps it solid right there. And then it's going to be really easy to remove. You just lift it up and pull it right out. So really easy operations on that. And then we do have our actual mulch bag, so you just slide that on, and then it does have a like handle right there on the end. So that is the whole unit right there. That's everything in that there was for installation or putting it together. It was very easy to do. So it did come with the oil dipstick and fill chamber is right here, and that funnel that it came with, that funnel works really great for the oil because the opening is just the right size to go in there. So I'm pretty sure that's what they had it meant for, and that just goes in there real nice. So that's oil. There's actually another one on the other side too. So when I was filling it up, I did end up using the whole bottle and putting it in there, and even then right now it just has a little bit of oil on the dipstick. It goes up maybe 1/4 of an inch on the dipstick. So you're supposed to do an oil change after the first 5 hours of operation, but that is where the dipstick is. We have the fuel up here. It's supposed to take just unleaded regular or premium is what it said, and then we'll come over here to the other side, and here's the other oil dipstick, and both of them say oil right on there. That's really all there is to it. We will show a video of it actually starting. We haven't started it all yet, so it'll be the maiden voyage for it, but that was how it was to put together. Overall, it really wasn't that hard, just it is a little bit heavy. So the stuff that we used, I used this tool set, and the only ones that we ended up using were the 3/8. That was for the smaller ones that go on the hopper and whatnot. And then we had this 1/2, and so the 3/8 and 1/2, you're going to want open end wrenches for those two. Those are really the only two that you're going to want them for or need them for. And then the 5/8, and the 5/8 was for the mounting bolts and whatnot. I did actually use the needle nose pliers to help with the cottering pins on the wheels, and other than that, that was it. That was it for tools. Sorry, just a few more things before we do the clip of us using it. I'm going to go over the warranties and paperwork. So it does have the 5-year chipper and engine warranty. So there's that. You have the actual registration form to send it in for that warranty. Engine 5-year limited warranty statement. So that gives you the stuff that you got to watch for. And then it also says on there, you know, if you try and start it without oil on the engine, it'll void the warranty. So just be aware of that. And then there's the maintenance schedule right here. It's a real quick sheet. This maintenance schedule, it breaks it down by the engine size. So we got the 301, so we're going to be looking on this side. Another portion of the actual book also talks about like cleaning, checking for loose hardware, check all safety labels, inspect cone and hopper and guards, clean debris from the engine, inspect, rotate shredding hammers, which will give you the best ones, and then inspect, rotate chipping knives. It also talks about sharpening and whatnot, and then it does give you directions about how to actually get in there and do that as well in these manuals. And then so there are the two different manuals. This one is mainly just for the putting it together and whatnot, and then you usually come down here to this actual Viper manual, and this goes about how to actually turn it on, how to turn it off, what type of fuel to use in there, what type of oil to use. It talks about all the actual buttons and whatnot, so it goes on the full procedures on that. So that is the paperwork that it comes with. Alright, you guys, we're getting ready to go ahead and start this up, and so I was just going to show you again real quick these few things that you need to do before we pull it. We'll see how easy it starts. Again, I haven't started this yet. We just put the oil and the fuel in it few hours ago, and I was just in working on some videos and whatnot. So first thing we need to do, so we have this switch here on the side that says off, so it's in off position right now, so we're going to switch it to on. We're going to come over and make sure that the fuel is on the on position, so we're going to just make sure, and that's just over that way, and it is. The choke, because it is above, I think the instruction said 70 or 80 degrees, it's above that. It's something like 87 degrees or something out here. If it's above that, then you can just leave it on run. If not, if it's colder, or so if it's really cold, or if it's just colder in ambient temperature and you haven't been running it for a while, then you can move it over to the choke position. This should be all of the switches that we need to take care of. I do still have I took the cover off here for the chute. I took the bag off, which is on this side, and so it'll just end up shooting out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it towards the pit, and I'm just going to have all the wood shooting right down into the pit, and then I'll worry about spreading it out later and whatnot. But I don't want to have to worry about the bag right now. So I will turn this afterwards. I just want to give you guys a good view. So we're going to start with that. So we'll go ahead and get started this time. Alright y'all, we have been going at it with this Tazz Chipper shredder for, I'd say, at least an hour. I don't know how long it's actually been. This is the byproduct of everything, and we've made it most of the way through this pile right here. And we've also, so it's a lot of the actual tree branches, we also have started going through this one a little bit. It's working really awesome. I really like this. It hasn't hiccuped at all. It does recommend that you let it self-feed. So there's some of them that it won't self-feed. Some of the smaller ones, it'll suck them right up and go through, but some of the bigger ones, it won't self-feed. So I do have to apply gentle pressure, but I'm not pushing them in there. So that's going to be a key thing to not wear down the components of this machine and burn it out earlier. So I'm just applying gentle pressure on it. This is my prep stack right here. So this is the next stuff that's getting ready to go in. And this machine actually kind of scares me because this little chute right here that I've been sending everything through, this chute, when I start putting the bigger logs through there, it'll start kicking them back. And they won't, large pieces won't fly out of the chute, but some little ones will actually kind of shoot out there. Not incredibly fast, it probably wouldn't hurt you, but I am pretty wary of staying not in front of that. I will not stand in front of that, and I will not cross in front of it if I actually have something going through there. And the exfil port that's right here has been doing really good. Actually, the only reason that we stopped was because that got plugged up, and so I stopped it so I could clean it, and now we're just taking a break. But this machine is doing awesome. I would definitely give it a 5-star rating. So hope you liked the video. Hope that helps you choose which shredder you want to get, or chipper shredder. And other than that, have a great day. DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself.